Neurodivergent Life presents ADHD and Faith in God. Dear God, why did you make me defective? It's a simple question with a lot to unpack. The first thing to consider is what you think of as defective. For countless people with ADHD, feeling defective is a way of life. It's a part of who we are. When our mood is good, we feel special and sometimes superior in some aspects. We can hyper-focus like crazy, or we can tackle multiple projects at the same time. We call these our superpowers. To the outside world, they might as well be powers bestowed from the heavens. We can store tons of useless information and have it come to the forefront of our mind with just a few words. We can recall song lyrics from 20 years ago and fit them into the conversation, not unlike how Bumblebee talks. People with ADHD have the power to move from one group of people to the next and blend in wherever they need to. Some of us can anyway. With all that we are capable of, and I haven't even scratched the surface, why do we think of ourselves as defective? It's a complicated answer. Much of what we think keeps us from truly fitting in anywhere are the same things that allows us to work on our own schedule in our own way. Yes, writing things down makes things a lot easier for us. It's not just a short-term memory issue, it's an attention issue as well, that executive function thing people talk about. We have problems with it, and writing things down makes a big difference. Meanwhile, we watch everyone else nod their heads, and they all seem to understand the assignment without any questions. While we're trying to put the pieces together, they seem to have all the answers. That can make us feel dumb or incompetent. Now, when we do get the pieces together, which sometimes can be faster than others or slower, either way, when we get a clear understanding of it, we can apply that to multiple scenarios without needing to start from scratch. The adaptive skills we learned that allowed us to avoid negative consequences now serve to adapt new protocols to multiple situations. Sadly, we don't always see our skills and only focus on how long it took us to get the basics down. Why were we made inferior to our counterparts? It doesn't seem fair. The real problem isn't that we're defective, it's that we focus on what we perceive to be defections. Take the problem of focus as an example. How many times have you been working on something in a crowded area and didn't hear any of the conversations going on? Your friend might ask you about something they heard and you have no idea what they're talking about. You've been focusing on your project and not what's been going on around you. Your hyper-focus kicked in and you were able to get the project done long before anyone else. Sure, you might be socially awkward at the next gathering and they bring up the previous conversations, but you've outdone yourself on your project. In contrast, you might be in an area where there's a lot going on, and you don't have anything particular you have to work on, so you allow your eyes and ears to explore your surroundings. Because of your ADHD and other neurodiverse traits, you can pick up on nearly every other conversation and activity. When you find one of interest, you can focus on it regardless of what side of the room it's on or how many conversations are going on around you. It's not super hearing, it's focused hearing, another superpower. So, God, why did you make me defective? His answer: I didn't. The psalmist wrote, I will praise you because I have been remarkably and wonderfully made. We are remarkably made. Each one of us has abilities and a calling that no other can match. Sure, we may feel inferior at times, we may think we're inadequate, but that doesn't mean we are. Those are simply feelings that come from the depression side of ADHD. For it was you who created my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. Down to our DNA, which looks like knitting in some pictures. We were pieced together, stitch by stitch. There's not a single part of us that God did not have a hand in. Sure, we may have some things wrong with us, according to society, but God doesn't see us that way. In Ephesians 2:10 it says, For we are what He has made us, created in Christ Jesus for good works. Some might say that God made a mistake when He made us. I think that all the time, yet I know it not to be true. I'm not some mishap who stewed wrong in the womb. I was made with special ingredients that set me apart. Not better, not worse, just different. In Ephesians 1:5 it says that in Christ we have been predestined for adoption as sons through Jesus Christ. If you've ever been in the social services system, you know that adoption is no easy task. There's a lot of money, paperwork, stress, sweat, and tears involved. Getting adopted is the hope of every orphan child. The children that have been taken away or abandoned by their biological parents hope that one day they'll be wanted like real children. Some find that magical action called adoption, and others don't. We have been chosen by God to be adopted sons and daughters. The paperwork has been filled out. The payment has been made. Everything is in readiness. All we have to do is accept. When it comes to the frustrations of ADHD, we can find peace and understanding in Christ through His Word. We don't have to feel inadequate. No, sometimes we still will. We don't have to look and envy at what others can do that we can't. Instead, we can give our anxiety to Christ and consider all the blessings we have by being a child of God. ADHD doesn't have to control our lives, and we don't have to be hopeless, hapless, or harmed. We can allow ourselves to find the benefits God has given us in our unique abilities and outside-the-box thinking. Without Christ, it's an uphill battle with a lot of downfalls. With Christ, it's an uphill battle with an expert climber helping us along. The question isn't, why was I made defective? The real question is, am I ready to accept the help for my frustrations? Thank you for joining us here at Neurodivergent Life. If you've liked what you've heard, be sure to support us by becoming a free or paid subscriber at neurodivergentlife.substack.com. Until next time, keep on living that neurodivergent life.